Hey everybody, I just had a couple of apologies to make because apparently I'm just out here like screwing up in life. I don't know what my deal's been lately, but work, school, whatever, I just cannot keep anything straight. So I realized that I missed last week's video. Completely spaced it because I can't seem to remember what day it is. That's no excuse though. I am setting a alarm in my phone to remind me. I did start my summer classes, so I will be on a little bit better schedule. Not quite so crazy, hopefully. But anyway, with that being said, I want to jump into this week's topic, which is discussing our periods. Me personally, I've had absent periods from PCOS. I'm not entirely sure how long it was for me, but I think it was somewhere around like 9 or so months, give or take. And that when I didn't have a period at all. And this was just prior to my diagnosis. Before that, for years, I have had issues with just being real irregular, things like that. When I first started having periods, mine were like clockwork. Like, I could tell you what time of day it was going to be, like all that sort of thing. It hasn't been like that since I was about 14, 15 years old. So it's been quite some time that I haven't had regular periods. But I have been using birth control, and I had been using birth control about 2 years prior to when I didn't have periods for about 9 months this past year. And they've always helped to regulate. My doctor did put me on one that's got the 2 hormones. I'm not a doctor, but anyway, it does help regulate. I think she put me on that kind because if maybe I was on the kind of birth control that's just the 1 hormone, that might not work so well, since obviously I had some sort of a problem. That was, of course, before we knew about the PCOS, before we realized, not like I'm a poster child for it, but okay. Any time that I had been absent of my period, which was 2-3 times, she did prescribe me Provera to induce a period. It worked for me both times. This past time, I felt like, anyway, it took significantly longer for me to start a period than it did the time before. I think that was just because my hormones were more out of whack than they were the time prior. I didn't ever used to have like any type of cramping or anything like that. Nothing like severe or anything. But as time has progressed, they've gotten significantly worse. Now, even though I'm on birth control again, and have been now for about 5 months, it's still, there's still a couple of days that I feel like I could die. Or, just like I feel like just really sick. And, it varies, but it's usually a couple of days at least, and my periods are usually 4.5-ish, 5 days maybe, on birth control. I'm on Ocella. I was on Yaz previously, but it made me a huge bitch, so I felt that was a problem. Now looking back, I realized that possibly could have been PCOS interfering with life. But I don't know, I guess maybe, maybe things will improve in the future. Maybe they won't. I don't really know. At this point, I'm grateful to have periods because there's you know, so many times you wonder, but then it just gets to the point where, like, you are so used to having irregular periods that, like, you know, some girls, they'd freak out and, like, think they were pregnant. I never worry about it, because I just never had regular period, you know, I mean, it had just been so long. Like, I've been dealing with this for, like, 8 years, so it's almost become, you know, it's just the norm, really. The fact that I had missed them for like 9 months, that was very concerning to me. And it really bothered me because I knew that something was wrong. I am glad that that happened, though, because otherwise I may not have been diagnosed with PCOS. So I'm kind of, in a way, I know it's kind of screwed up, but grateful for that. But, you know, even with the pain and misery that I sometimes still have with my periods, I am glad to have them back. Just for the simple fact that I know things are working properly. I'm not really concerned about anything else other than I try to look at it as a sign of, you know, the fact that I'm not going to have, you know, endometriosis, hopefully, you know, with shedding the lining regular and things like that. That and hopefully preserving my fertility. I don't really know. But that's at least my goals with it. I'm glad that I'm more regular, but it's not fun. Especially when you're, you know, to the point where you're used to only having a handful of periods, if that, a year. Like, I think in the last year prior to my diagnosis, I maybe had 3 periods. That ain't right. But at the same time, then you don't have to deal with it. But whatever. I digress. I am happy to have them back, even though, you know, it's a necessary evil, I guess. But I guess that's about it for me. I will get caught up with the other video. I just can't right now because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm sitting in my car. Waiting on somebody. But anyway, I will get caught up with that. I do apologize, and I am setting an alarm on my phone so this does not happen anymore. But if you all have any questions for me or any of the PCOS Life girls, I will send or add links to Facebook, Tumblr for PCOS Life, and my individual Facebook and Tumblr. I guess that's it. If y'all have any questions, you can leave them there in the comments below, and I'll be happy to get back with you. Thanks for watching.